I was at this supermarket when I noticed a 美女 queuing in front of me at the cashier. She was wearing a uniform from a beauty salon at the shopping mall. She wore high heels, heavy makeup, and had all her nails painted. As she approached the counter, I noticed that her shopping basket was full of instant noodles. She asked the cashier for a packet of cigarettes, which cost more than all the instant noodles in her basket. I was thinking, 美女，你怎么舍得花钱抽烟，不舍得花钱吃饭呢？ I don't smoke, and I don't like to share the same space as people who smoke. But I remember I was a lot more tolerant of smokers when I was a little boy. Hi guys, welcome to Red Dot Rants, the comedy and tragedy of living in Singapore. It's the 24th of June 2024. My maternal grandmother was a smoker. She used to tear out a thin slip of paper from a small booklet. She would then place some loose tobacco on that slip of paper, roll it up to a little cone, lick the end of the paper, and then roll up to seal the cigarette. Then she would light up. Grandma was a chain smoker, but tobacco was not so heavily taxed back then. Though she was not as sophisticated as our instant noodle beautician, smoking was a habit she could afford without sacrificing nutrition. Now, she passed away in her 90s, and she's not the only relative of mine who smoked. Both my grandfathers smoked as well. Only my paternal grandmother didn't smoke, and I was close to them. Now, in spite of all these negative influences, I was never even tempted to smoke, and that may have nothing to do with the URA's protection, because I was already in P4 when the URA was formed on the 1st of April 1974. No joke. Yes, I'm talking about this piece of wall art. It depicts a young samsui woman holding a smoking cigarette. It was completed in early April on the exterior of Block 297 South Bridge Road. The URA subsequently told the landlord in an email dated the 8th of May that the mural is not aligned with Singapore's anti-smoking policy stance. The mural's artist is an American by the name of Sean Dunstan. He's 50 years old and has been based in Singapore since 2009. Now, he told the Straits Times over a phone call that the authorities should try to find a little more balance, as censoring the work outright was too rigid and too draconian. Dunstan took to Instagram to share about the incident, and his post has since garnered over 1,300 likes and more than 110 comments, mostly in support of the artist. Now, an excerpt from the URA regarding this mural, I quote, "We wish to bring to your attention that URA has received feedback on the mural from a member of the public. This feedback received is as follows. We find this mural offensive and is disrespectful to our samsui women. The woman depicted in this mural looks more like a prostitute than a hardworking samsui woman." Well, I really don't know how a prostitute holds a cigarette, but the mention of prostitute reminds me of my upcoming book entitled Better a Whore Than a Concubine. It's a novel loosely based on the life of China's most talented courtesan, Liu Rushi. Sold to a brothel when she was young, Liu Rushi hung around with scholars and men of letters, composing many anthologies of poems. Now, she married Qian Qianyi, a famous teacher and an official of the ailing Ming dynasty. Liu Rushi once wrote, 可怜我生不逢时，不幸落入这烟粉尘堆之中。虽然我身在这风月场中， 但是如果遇不到优异的才士，我绝对不会委身相随。柳如是 displayed the same righteous and unyielding attitude when the Manchus overran the country. She would rather die than submit. To find out how her life ended tragically inside a decent household, get a copy of my book when it's out on Google Books. Now back to our samsui woman. Dunstan had this to say: to the member of the public that leveled this criticism, I'd like to say that sex workers are very hardworking people. Agreed. And should be treated with as much respect as anyone else. You should ask your mum about it. Quite uncalled for. Also, if I offended you with this depiction of a samsui woman trying to enjoy herself for 2 little minutes between grind after grind, then I couldn't be more pleased about it. You are literally my target demographic. So, the rest of what the URA said is they don't want smoke. We have to get rid of the cigarette by the 3rd of July, or my client's tenant, a restaurant with a temporary license, will be denied their license in less than a month and be forced to shut down. Right now, I'm thinking of alternatives that would be acceptable to URA, and we'll be modifying the mural for them in the next week or so. Unquote. Comedy or tragedy? I would say it's a combination of both. Now, the joker who was offended was preaching from a moral high horse. And the thing about moral high horses is that once someone gets on one of them, anyone who disagrees is morally inferior. In a TV program called 开讲啦, broadcast in China, world-famous Singaporean food critic, writer and movie maker Chua Lam Cai Lan was asked a pointed question: aren't you afraid that your flagrant ways may lead young people astray? Chua Lam replied, your show is only 20 minutes long. If I can lead young people astray in 20 minutes, then there must be something very wrong with your education system. Now, I've made another video about Mr. Chua Lam. Do check out the link in the comments section. By the way, Mr. Chua Lam smokes. And though I read his books, I enjoy his books, I enjoy his TV shows, I've never learned to smoke from Chua Lam. Sherlock Holmes not only smokes, he's a cocaine addict, for goodness sake. Fortunately, few people are reading classics these days. Otherwise, Sherlock Holmes may get banned if a member of the public complains to the NLB. Are we encouraging cocaine addiction here? There is no end to wokeism and virtue signaling. In the West, it's more about left-wing political correctness. They are often ignored because the creators of these offending content have their rights. Over here, it's about moral high horses and concerned parents who want their children to be protected from sinners like us, because somehow sinners like us have more influence over their children than they do. Why is the URA so kancheong about this mural? Are they playing safe in the run-up to the biggest event of the year? Talking about that event, we have influencers supporting a political party, and hopefully they are doing it because of their own political convictions. Frankly, I have no idea who these influencers are or how they hold their cigarettes. Now, the Straits Times called it a star-studded cast. I'm not going to mention them, but I'm eager to see what sort of content they're putting out for the folks that they sincerely and wholeheartedly support. Now, that's all for now. Give me your comments and your support. I'll see you in the next video.